Thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs of my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode. It's going to be me today, Sales with Suli. I kind of want to talk about this topic as we are prepping for the summer, and some of you guys who might be listening to this episode are probably already in a blitz or already knocking. But I want to talk about fear. A lot of you guys have reached out about being too scared to open up your car door, or being too scared to go try a different industry, or being too scared just of the day-to-day that comes with door-to-door. And I know a lot of us, when, at least for me, when I can't see the end result, or I can't see what's going to be happening the next day, it's scary. And door-to-door, for most of us, especially for you new women who haven't ever done door-to-door, it's going to be a lot easier for us to reflect back to being scared. It's going to be easier for us to reflect back into the reasons that we shouldn't open our car door. And I kind of want to address some of those things. And I know that some of us in this space, as we listen to this episode, some of you guys may not agree, and that's totally fine. But because of fear, sometimes we will decide to blame our leaders for the reason that we're not finding success. Because of fear, we'll sometimes blame our car partners for the reason that we don't have success. Because of fear, we will blame our areas, and most importantly, our insecurities is what's going to cause us to basically not fulfill our potential while we're out there on the doors. And so how is it that we remove fear? How do we remove insecurity in a space where we are being judged on a regular basis, door after door after door? I mean, plenty of us have been on people's Facebook pages or on the Nextdoor app, and so many of us are just scared of the unknown. But I'm here to tell you that it's something we just do not get rid of. If you want to be mediocre, if you want to stay within your comfort zone, door to door is not for you. But I'm here to tell you, even myself, it has now been, this will be my 15th summer in door to door. And I wake up nervous and scared every single day when I'm out there knocking doors. I'm deathly afraid of not living up to the goals of my teammates. I'm deathly afraid of not living up to the goals that maybe my leaders have for me. And more importantly, I'm deathly afraid of just not obtaining the massive goals that I have just set for myself for this year. And it's super scary to think about on a regular basis. And I know that we as women, we will probably spend a little bit more time than the guys do on being anxious, on being nervous, on being afraid. I know for me, when I get scared or when I get afraid, before getting on the doors, I used to just sit in those emotions. I would just let those emotions just build up minute after minute, second after second, hour after hour. And then at the end of that time frame, or the end of that fear, it's what did I accomplish? I literally accomplished nothing except more fear. And that's why I say that we are not going to get rid of it. We are going to learn to just go out there scared and do it well anyways. Most people who look at me, or my teammates or my leaders, they probably don't see the fear and the anxiety that goes on in my mental space, even when I'm running a team, even when I'm out there by myself. And so I want to talk about just a couple of simple steps that I take that helps me in being able to knock while scared. And one of those ways that I overcome or continue to find success on the doors, even while I'm deathly afraid and deathly scared, is waking up every single day with gratitude. So I have a journal that I basically just call the gratitude journal. And what I'll do is I will write down 3 things that I'm super grateful for. And I will make sure that they are not the three things that I wrote the day before. So it's not like, hey, I'm grateful for my bed, or I'm grateful for I'm grateful for my body. But being intentional about the things that you are really grateful about. Like, I have a son, and he only has 5 fingers. And I cannot tell you, like, when I am up in the mornings, like, writing, how grateful I am to have 10 fingers. I don't know what it's like to not have all of my fingers, but my son does. And so I wake up excited. I wake up grateful just for something so simple as the simple fact that I have 10 fingers. I focus on the things of, I am super grateful that I literally have a roof over my head. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have checked the stats of homelessness, but it is super high right now. And you get to wake up with a roof over your head. And so for me, as I take the time to focus, start the day focusing on on that simple act, it definitely sets my day up a little bit better, because I'm already anticipating and expecting the fact that I'm going to be nervous knocking my first door. I'm going to be nervous opening the car door, but I am going to do it with gratitude. I'm going to do it with grace and a little bit of excitement. The second way that I am able to manage fear and being on the doors, even while being scared, is setting attainable goals. So like setting actual goals that you can keep track of. Like, one, how many doors are you going to be knocking every single day? Like, how many of us have said, hey, we're going to be knocking 50 doors, and then you get like a phone call or you get a text or something pops up on social media, and you have found every excuse or reason to get off the doors because you were nervous. You're like, oh, well, I did 10 doors. And so for me, one of the biggest things is having non-negotiables and telling yourself you're going to show up and do the things that you told yourself that you're going to do. If you have set a goal today to knock 100 doors, you are going to knock 100 doors, and nothing is going to stop you from doing that. Okay. The last thing that I do to be able to help me just kind of like manage and continue knocking doors even while afraid is setting goals for like the number of conversations that I want to have. So you're not going to be able to dictate how many deals you're going to get. You're not going to be able to dictate what your car partner does. You're not going to be able to control or dictate like what your leader does, but you can control the little things that you're doing. And I feel like if you're focusing on the number of conversations that you're going to have, it's going to help you to just focus on the task at hand and kind of just let the fear dwindle. And so for me, I set a goal to be able to have at least, 10 conversations a day. And it's not just those, superficial, like, hey, how are you? It's actually asking homeowners, about their kids, about their relationships, and just being an actual human being on the doors. It definitely helps me to not be so scared when I'm getting to that next door. Okay, so again, those 3 things that I do daily to be able to help me continue to knock doors, even while I'm scared, is waking up and starting the day with gratitude. 2, setting a goal for the number of doors that I plan to knock and not making any excuses to get off the doors until I have completed that. And then lastly, focusing on actual human interactions. The more human interactions that you can set a goal to be able to have throughout the day, the less likely you're going to be afraid of being able to have a conversation with the next door. But I'm here to also like give a little bit of advice to those of us ladies out there. I know for me is I would make a big deal about all the little tiny things. My car partner, something that my leader said throughout the day, or like the area or time management. If we just stop fretting the little things, ladies, we are going to be less fearful when we're getting out there on the doors. Don't fret the little dogs chasing after you while you're out there, because guess what? You just boosted your heart rate. You just got in all of your steps for that day by running away from that dog. Like, don't fret the homeowners who are going to be slamming the doors on your face. Like, I had a manager who would always say, like, I'm grateful when homeowners slam their doors on my face, because guess what? They took out their stress and their anxiety and their anger out on me that they could have taken out on their spouse or they could have taken out on their kid. So I too look at it the same way. Like, I'm grateful when someone yells at me because I feel like they're going to be taking out their anger on me instead of like their loved one behind those closed doors. And lastly, don't fret your managers. I used to nitpick on everything that they did, like the lack of trainings that they would provide, the lack of success that they were finding on the doors. Let's practice grace and gratitude. It's not going to be easy for the leaders on the doors to be able to lead and manage a team of 5, 10, 15. And I know some of you are out there thinking, well, they shouldn't be leaders. They shouldn't manage. They shouldn't do all those things. Don't fret it. If you want to be a leader or be the type of leader that you want to be, get up and go and manage a team. Be the type of person that you want to be on the doors. So again, for those of you guys out there who are asking, how do I overcome fear? How do we manage fear on the doors and still able to find success? And I'm here to tell you that fear is just a state of mind. It's not your reality. So choose today to create your reality. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.